So the main thing I wanted to talk about in today's episode isn't necessarily the games that have been happening of recent, but obviously a little bit of a preview into this trade deadline, who I think the Yankees should go after, what I think are the more far-fetched goals that are potential, and then what could actually happen and what are realistic opportunities for them to go and try and get players. Because the Yankees have a strong farm system, but not one of the best in the MLB. And personally, I don't believe that you should be giving up pieces on your active roster that can help you currently to go get other pieces that you think are going to help. I don't like that balancing act of we're adding here, but we're taking away from here. I think that you should just be trying to improve the major league club. And yeah, you're going to lose some of your prospects, some of your assets in the minor leagues, but this is a win now team, and I do believe that you need to go for it in this time of the season. So I would say the first move that that I would want them to make would be to go and get Luke Weaver back. My favorite player on the team, everybody knows that from the last 2 seasons. He has been an absolute dog this year. In his last 30 games played, a .30 ERA. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable stuff from him yet again. And I do believe last year when he wasn't pitching well, it was because of the injuries he sustained in the middle of the season. I mean, he had a 0 ERA before that, and then he comes back not pitching the same way, not pitching with the same confidence, and we saw how that turned out in the postseason there. But he's been all gas, no breaks for the Mets this year, and honestly, one of the few bright spots in that lineup and on that team as they've kind of stumbled out of the gate and probably will not be making the playoffs, as we talked about in the previous episode. So if I'm the New York Mets, I'm looking to trade him, and if I'm the New York Yankees, I'm looking to get him back. You're the guy who fixed his career, and just go out there, make this trade. I don't think the Mets are going to be looking for that much. It is a rental. He's going to be making $11 million next year, so a little bit on the more expensive side. If you're the Mets, yeah, you'd want to keep him to build around him as a centerpiece in your bullpen, but they have much bigger issues to be looking at. So if I'm the Mets, I'm trading him. If I'm the Yankees, I'm going and getting him. It's only prospects in this deal, and you're not giving up anybody huge to go get Luke Weaver, but he is the best reliever on the market if Mason Miller is not available. So I do want to say, go get Luke Weaver, go strengthen that bullpen, because you need a guy who can replace a Camilo Doval, because the way that it's been so far, him, Jake Bird, not able to get anybody out, and obviously Jake Bird off the roster now, but both of them with over 4 ERA, Luke Weaver, sub-1. I mean, that's telling. That's what you need on this team. And I believe that as a centerpiece level, I mean, just imagine at the end of a game, you go from, say, Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, they go 6 innings, and then you go Hedrick, Weaver, Bednar. I love that to close a game in any postseason game against any team. I do believe that that would be a great way to set up and go and try and win games. If you have that kind of formula, that's where teams are successful, because they know they can go to guys in any spot against any guy. And I don't want to, be doing this, hey, I got to plug this guy here, plug this guy, he's got strengths here. No, you want guys who are just good overall. They don't have strengths, they don't have weaknesses. They are just a good pitcher overall. So I do believe Luke Weaver is one of those people. And if I'm the Yankees, I want to go get him. Secondary move that I want to make, and I do believe that we've talked about this the whole season, how crucial the bottom of the lineup is. I don't believe that they're going to be making a move for a third baseman. I do think they like Ryan McMahon and Ahmed Rosario, that little platoon. I like that situation. You get good fielding from McMahon, some good hitting from Rosario. I think that situation's okay, and you're okay with having one bat at the bottom of your lineup not being amazing. I do believe, though, you got to make a move for either a shortstop or a catcher, because the way that I'm seeing it is this. You have a shortstop right now in Anthony Volpe who, he has these bright moments, and he'll go and hit 100 for the next month and a half. So can't rely on him. Caballero is an ultimate utility piece, ultimate bench piece. You don't want him in your starting lineup. It's just too valuable to have him off the bench. He doesn't provide nearly as much value in the starting lineup as he does as a late game bench piece. So I wouldn't want him as my starter. And then George Lombard, who I think we all want to see him do well, and we all want to see him come up and play and see what he's got. But is he really going to be the guy here on July 29th who's going to be the person to change where this season's trajectory is going? Because that's what you'd be asking him to do. You'd be asking him to come in and produce immediately. And is he ready for that? And it's a lot to put on the shoulders of somebody who's been playing very well in the minor leagues, but it's totally different at the major league level. So I don't know that those are fair expectations for him and for the other two, honestly, to be the shortstop of the New York Yankees. So go out there, get somebody with experience. Abrams from C.J. Abrams from Washington has been thrown around a lot recently. I tossed out Corey Seager as an aging veteran, but a veteran presence is good. I think there's a plethora of moves they could make just for this shortstop position. There's a lot of availability that's not going to cost you so much to the point where you're going to be losing out on guys who you don't want to give up. I don't think they have to trade a LeGrande. I don't think they have to trade a guy like Lombard to go get a shortstop. I don't think they want to do that, and I don't think they have to do that. I do think they would have to do that for some other positions that we can talk about that in a second. But if I'm the Yankees, I'm just saying, listen, it's either got to be bring up Lombard after this deadline, and that's my move at shortstop, and I'm content with that, and I'm okay with that, or it's going to be, listen, we're going to make a trade here. We're going to try and get a Corey Seager. We're going to try and get a C.J. Abrams. We don't want to give up too much capital, but we're going to try and get a guy who's going to elevate our offense a little bit without sacrificing too much. So I do think they need to make a move for shortstop, but even more important than shortstop is the catcher position. Now, Minnesota, we talked about this in the last episode. Are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? They did this kind of hybrid buy-sell last year where they didn't really know what they wanted to do, and they kind of ended up in this middling position. Similar situation for them again this year. If I'm Minnesota, offload Jeffers while you can. Get the assets that you can right now, potentially to help build this team. You're not going anywhere this year. You know that. You're not probably going anywhere next year either. But if you can build a great farm system, then if you get some of those guys to come up, they play well, they mesh together, and then all of a sudden, you can trade some of those other assets that you got to go get a big guy, a big star, Fernando Tatis per se, just a guy, right? So they can do that. They can make that trade. But I do think it starts with them moving on from Ryan Jeffers. I do think the Yankees are a good suitor for that. But again, it's just about what do you want to give up? What are you willing to give up? For me personally, I believe that Lombard and LeGrande can contribute on the MLB team this year. And I'm not willing to give up those guys. That's me personally. Brian Cashman, totally different story. We don't know how he's going to feel about that. He's okay with letting prospects go willy-nilly. Here we go, left and right. And honestly, some of them pan out, some of them don't. And that's the thing. You hold on to these guys forever, like Spencer Jones, and you never know what you're going to get. You hold on to the Martian forever, you don't know what you're going to get. And eventually, these guys have been sitting in your minor league system for so long, their value just decreases because the age is going up. But also, if they come up to the major league level and don't produce in a couple of years, then you're saying, okay, well, we held on to these guys and we could have traded them as part of a package to get a really good player per se, and then it doesn't end up working out because the guy that we didn't get, he's having a great career right now, and then say the Martian, you know, he's been a good player, but his fielding is a problem, his hitting has been inconsistent. So what are you able to get from those prospects, from those guys who you don't know what they're going to turn into, but you do know what team you have right now and you know what you need to build around. So if I'm the Yankees, I'm willing to trade anybody except those two guys to go get Ryan Jeffers. I don't think that he's a guy who's going to necessarily make it so, hey, we win the division, we're going to go to the World Series. No, Ryan Jeffers is not the piece that changes everything for the Yankees, but he's a crucial part. He's a crucial part, a crucial trade to be made because Wells has been hitting so poorly. And Wells is a nice bench bat to have in a situation, hey, you bring him in, he's a lefty bat, he could hit righties kind of well sometimes, and he's a good catcher to have on the bench as a backup. But just from a hitting perspective, I mean, the difference between Austin Wells and Ryan Jeffers, it's the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. Jeffers is one of the best hitting catchers in the league right now. I think you go and make that move. Again, I'm just not willing to give up those two guys in Lombard and LeGrande. Other than that, I'm fine with any situation that the Yankees want to do and any other trades that they feel like they need to make. Again, if you want to add in the bullpen, Mason Miller, name's been tossed out there. Again, what are you giving up? What are you giving up if you're the Yankees? If it's prospects, go ahead. As long as it's not those two guys, go ahead, take them. But if it's guys at the major league level, then you're really starting to say, hey, we're adding here, we're taking. I'm not a fan of that. Never have been, never will be. I do believe that your team as it's currently constructed is good enough to do something special in the postseason. But if you're going and adding one guy here, taking away from one guy, you're changing the strengths of your team. And you're taking away chemistry in that way too. So I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to do that. So if I'm the Yankees, those are the moves I make. Luke Weaver, Ryan Jeffers, and go get yourself a decent shortstop. Who knows who that's going to be. I don't think they need to make a move for an outfielder because you got Judge coming back eventually. Stanton, if he ever comes back, is going to end up playing. You just know that's going to happen. Even if it's on a 50% basis, he's going to be in the lineup. So you can't really make a move that's going to hamper that because you know Boone is going to start him anyway. So I don't think they need an outfielder. I think they got plenty. I think the infield on the right side's fine. It's just really a question of what are you going to do on that left side of the infield and at catcher, and then potentially adding 1 or 2 bullpen pieces. But that has been Yankees in 10, brought to you by Mike and B Sports Talk. We're going to go live for the trade deadline on Monday around 5 o'clock. Trade deadline is 6 o'clock. We'll be live from 5 to 7 p.m., giving you guys a whole breakdown of what's happened earlier in the day, what happens when we're live, obviously, and then obviously after the trade deadline ends, what we think as a recap of all the moves that have happened. So look forward to that Monday, 6 o'clock, August 3rd.